Hello and welcome to the TwoFiveOh, the podcast where we're not afraid of heights, we're afraid of falling. I'm Jonathan, and with me as always is my co-host Douglas. How are you, Douglas?
I'm really good.
Should I do it again? Was that weird? I think that was weird.
No, you just, before we start recording, you just have this energy of like, oh, let's go, I'm ready. And then you start the podcast and you're like, hello and welcome to the TwoFiveOh, the podcast where we're not...
So if this is your first time tuning into the TwoFiveOh, we've taken a snapshot of IMDb's top 250 movies as of January 2020. And we've begun watching them from number 250 all the way through to number 1. In this podcast, we discuss our opinions, thoughts, and reactions to the movies within. Today's movie is number 245, Paris, Texas.
Travis Henderson has been wandering the desert for 4 long years. After collapsing in a remote town in Texas, Travis reunites with his brother Walt and his son Hunter, and must start working to right the wrongs of his past.
That's a really short description. I'm sorry, I could have done better than that.
Well, you don't really need to give much more than that, I reckon.
The original description that like IMDb has is like an aimless drifter must reconnect with society, himself, his life, and his family, and it sounds like a Tim Allen movie or something, or like the sequel to Castaway. Yeah, where it's like a really like it's like some goofy person who's like grown up with wolves or something and like has to learn to go be a fucking investment banker or something.
Yeah.
This is not that. It was that was kind of what I was expecting, and I was like, once again, I swear to God, this happens with like half the films we do.
What, you go in with a preconception and then you come out of it and you're like, oh.
It's like a super, super cool kind of concept, and the way that the kind of characters work into that. Yeah, good fucking movie. Holy shit. Yeah. Spoiler alert. It is pretty good.
Directed by Wim Wenders. The original book was written by Sam Shepard, and it was adapted for the screen by L.M. Kit Carson. Yeah, I completely agree. I think Wim Wenders, along with his team, did an incredible job with looking into how long it took them to film this movie, especially. It only took them about 3 or 4 weeks to put this film together.
Oh, shit.
It's a real short and snappy filming time, but I guess, it's not like the flashiest film of all time, so you don't really need that much time, I suppose, to put together a film like this.
I guess so, but, like, it is a cinematography fucking masterpiece.
Absolutely. This is like ground zero. If you're wanting to get into cinematography and, like, shot composition and framing for landscapes especially, this is ground zero.
I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes with stuff like this, but it was like, I have a little sketch from the first scene where he's in, it's not the Mojave, but like the desert, with the, what are those called? The big, the
big like rock formations.
Yeah, they're not like mountains. They've got like a flat belt on top of them. He's like walking in amongst them, and like immediately, like first scene, I was like, holy shit. Like this is being set up so intentionally, like the whole thing, and that runs out the whole movie. It's fucking crazy. And it's like, it's just such a weird film because it's sort of a celebration of like Americana. It's constantly working on things that are like visual staples when you like think about America, like, the diner and the road trip through the desert and the red baseball cap and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is particularly weird because the director is German, I think. Wim Wenders?
Correct. German.
That's a pretty German name.
Yeah, but I think that's almost interesting in and of itself that, who better to take a look at the, an American dream and that kind of ideal than a foreigner, I think that's kind of interesting to see how accurately he can portray the beauty of the American landscape and everything that I guess comes with being an American. This film feels very truly American in a very Western country, rural, dusty sense.
It's like a concentrated version of like what you think of when you think of America. It totally is all that stuff, but it's not like a, some set or like on a soundstage or anything. The large majority of it is out in the middle of nowhere in fucking Texas, or I think California is where Walt lives.
Yeah. And I've done a couple of movies where we've had to obviously use natural lighting and be out in somewhere, and the amount of times where we've had to go, oh, stop, clouds have come over, it's overcast, we have to wait a little bit, and then try getting the shot again. And I marvel at the amount of every shot. It looks like perfection with the landscape, and it must have taken them either a whole a day to get some of those shots, or they just have managed to hit the right spot at the right time and just snag it.
Yeah. Pretty
fucking astounding that they got the quality of the shots that they did, and just the consistency amongst it is, incredible.
There's so many cool shots. I love the one at the start. I will call this pre-spoilers or whatever. There's the shot where Walt gets the phone call and he has the skyscraper, the high-rise painting in the background, and then he walks away from it. I'll bet there's some metaphor to that I missed. But he walks away and this guy makes billboards. It's not actually a skyline. He's hanging out in front of a warehouse.
But it's framed to look like it's, the skyscrapers behind him, and then it cuts immediately to that wide shot and he just walks away from it and you go, ah.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not entirely certain what he was trying to get at with that.
Oh, maybe it's just being clever. It's a nice way of setting the scene and kind of setting up a setting.
Because it would be a really fun, interesting, subversion if he did live somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but he had this painting that made it look like he was in front of a high rise. But he actually still just lives in, I think it was LA.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big high rise. It's city anyway, but all right. There's the other shot at the start with the doctor, and the whole thing is washed in green, was completely bizarre, but just so fucking cool to look at, and just constant these amazing serene shots of the desert wasteland. And when Travis is still not really responsive at the start, I gotta be careful, I don't want to talk too far, but he's always following a train track or a road or something that kind of rides off into the sunset off over the horizon, which is just a really cool kind of visual, pretty standard visual effect, but it's pieced in amongst this really, really beautiful location. It's so cool to look at.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff sort of peters out. Oh, actually no, there's all this road trip stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, there's further stuff. It is a road trip movie, I think, in the second act, I think, is the biggest road trippy part, without diving too deeply into spoilers. And that is, again, I think we can obviously give credit to Wim Wenders' direction, but there also has to be credit to cinematographer Robbie Mueller, who was the Dutch cinematographer for this film. Passed away only in July of 2018 at the age of 78. So mostly well known for Paris, Texas, but he also had a couple of other awards that he had won for Dead Man in 1995 and Breaking the Waves in 1996. Those were some of his other works where he worked as a cinematographer and obviously did a very good job. I mean, with the amount of stuff that he presents here in Paris, Texas, I think I want to see more stuff with Robbie Mueller's name attached to it.
Give me a little film industry background. Is it normal? How much sway does a cinematographer and the director have in picking and framing shots and that kind of thing?
Well, the pair of them normally they get, at least from my experience, they get together on location and they have the script in hand, and then they start going, okay, we're going to have this bit here, we're going to have this bit here, we're going to go over to the next location to film this bit. And then once they've got where they actually want the shots to happen, then they start figuring out, okay, so we're going to have the actor here, he's going to walk here and hit his mark here, and then what lighting do we want for that? If we need extra lighting, are we going to use natural lighting? And it's just a conversation, basically, on how they want the shot to be
The cinematographer is kind of, that's his like area of expertise, or hers.
Correct.
And then the director is the one who kind of has the final say on kind of where it goes, I guess.
Correct. Yeah. So it's the cinematographer is almost like a bouncing board in the experience that I've had. In that Wim, I can't speak for this film, obviously, but I can imagine that Wim Wenders would bring an idea to the table based off of what was written, and then Robbie Mueller would try and take that vision and that idea and translate it through to camera in the most appropriate fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I have had experiences with cinematographers. I still need some more professional experience behind the camera and in front of the camera in order to...
You just have more than I do, or at the very least you have more understanding of how the whole situation kind of pans out.
Yeah.
I guess while we're talking about kind of like background cast, the music is just incredible.
Yes.
It's constantly... The whole film is using this like slide guitar tracks from Ry Cooder, who did a bunch of... I have a note for this and I've lost it, but he did a bunch of just old westerns.
Yeah, and he's worked with people like, Eric Clapton and Rolling Stones, Van Morrison, Neil Young.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
He's got a fair few credits to his name, and he's known for roots rock, folk, blues, Americana.
And it's once again, this whole Americana thing. Like the slide guitar is just it's so indicative of that, I guess.
It's very complimentary for the landscape, I think. And if they were to choose anything more bombastic than what Ry Cooder gives, I think it would almost detract from some of these landscape shots.
It really grounds a lot of the film. It kind of has a consistent feel. It's not doing the whole emotion pulling thing. It's kind of in the most happy and the most sad themes, the actual feel of the music is more or less the same. So it kind of brings back that whole, like, Westernish Americana.
If we were to compare it to something that we've already watched and talk about, Castle in the Sky, the Disney dub really gives you that you must feel this emotion now through the score. Yeah, and this film does a polar opposite of that, and just kind of it lets the cinematography, the acting, the writing, lets all that kind of do its thing, and just it's very understated. It kind of
gets you in the right headspace, but it doesn't, and it kind of builds on this whole theme. The film is constantly doing obviously Americana. I'm going to keep saying fucking Americana through this whole thing. It's also I was constantly picking up on like westerny kind of bits, and I guess we'll talk about that a bit later. There's more to talk about with that, but the film seems to constantly want to put Travis in of like vests and cowboy hats and shit, and he's like constantly set on this desert backdrop and stuff. So that all kind of ties together, and I found that very easy to pick up. I thought it was quite interesting. Yeah. It's like a modern Western, and once again, we'll talk about that more post-spoilers, but it's much more emotional than a normal Western. How many Western films have you seen? Not too many, to be fair. Okay, right. Yeah, no, there tends to be normally a bit of at least a mild sense of empathy for whoever we should say the lead character is named Travis. Yep. That's who we're talking about whenever we say Travis. There tends to be, in Western films, there is a level of connection that the audience can make with the lead character in a Western. And I think for an adult, at least, I think people can connect with the sense of somber that is held within Travis's character and how he acts. Yeah, in the beginning, I don't want to talk too much about it out of spoilers, but yeah, it's sort of a mystery as well, the film. Oh yeah, absolutely. It throws you in the deep end. I wrote that down at the beginning. First scene in the film is Travis is just like walking, and you're like, what the fuck is this dude doing? And then he like shows up at this town and like passes out, and you're like, what? The fuck is going on?
I jotted down a note that's what my Trevor in GTA 5 looks like. Just scruffy beard, destroyed suit, red cap,
Yeah.
It's full on my Trevor.
Anyway.
Well, I think, we're harping on a bit more about the actual movie structure now, so...
Pushing a bit too hard right now.
We should probably say, yes, before spoilers, I would absolutely recommend watching this film. I think it's fantastic. As I said, ground zero for cinematography. If anyone, any director, any cinematographer, anyone who's mildly interested about shot composition or framing, especially for landscape, should absolutely watch this film.
Number one thing to be aware of, it is long. So
and
you need
slow, yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure you got 2.5 hours clocked away to actually watch it. But if you can, it was well worth a watch. It was very new to me. It wasn't the kind of film I normally watch. But it was super, super interesting. And there's just that cinematography.
It's a journey.
Yeah. Highly recommended. Spoiler time. Spoiler time. If you get past this point and you haven't watched the film, then do you have a good one, Douglas? I don't have anything.
You really need to start preparing these.
I really dropped the ball.
Fucking recordings.
I had one good one. Because I'll just say, like, I'm going to throw a brick through your window as, like, a bad joke.
Keep on listening past this point and you have not seen the film, I will set up one of those buckets of ice water above your front door and tie it to the doorknob so that then when you walk through the door, the bucket of water spills on you and your clothes get soaked.
You get cold. You get a bit chilly.
You get a little bit chilly, and then you gotta have another shower to cleanse yourself.
Air horns. Okay.
It's always good for us because we just have this pregnant pause.
Yeah. Just imagine what it's like. You probably can.
I hear it in my head.
Holy shit, yeah. The whole mystery bit of this film was so... I don't want to jump straight into the end because the thing that really hits you with this film is like the last 15 minutes. That like penultimate scene is so fucking crazy.
It's a good gut punch.
But I think we'll push that off to the side for a bit. We'll talk about it a bit later. We won't, jump the gun with it.
Yep.
Travis is such an interesting character. There's kind of, he rocks up and for the first, I don't know, maybe half an hour, maybe more, he doesn't say anything.
It's 26 minutes. It's 26 minutes into the film before he says his first words.
Yeah. And even then, it takes him forever to start actually sitting down and like saying full sentences and stuff.
Properly communicating, yeah.
Properly communicating with his brother. There is kind of an interesting question. I was wondering if, like, it's implied that he has some kind of mental disability, I think. I think?
Yeah, I can see that.
I guess it's kind of probably safest just to not dwell on that for too long and go, like, there's something that we're trying to do with that. But he's just gone into the middle of nowhere and he's just been fucking wandering for 4 years. Just like, and he's this kind of, it is the lone wanderer whole thing. And that's why I felt the whole Western vibe the whole way through. And it comes all the way to the very final scene where Travis kind of makes things right and then he just drives off. He's watching from a distance as...
John, we're going to put the penultimate scene and we're going to tuck that away.
The penultimate
also, John,
scene.
let's talk about
the penultimate scene, not the final scene.
Okay.
The final scene, I think that's fair game. Which is, it's still a very good scene, but it's not the penultimate scene.
Yeah.
But he's this, I don't know, what's a good cowboy film cowboy to use as comparison. He makes everything right in the town And he
And then
watches
he gets on his horse and rides off into
and
the
just
sunset.
rides off into the sunset. And it's
Back
like
on his merry old way.
he's kind of doesn't really belong anywhere, but he kind of comes to terms with that at the end of the film and goes, "It's better if
he was
it's
out of
better
the
if
picture.
my son is with my ex-wife and they live the life that they deserved, and I kind of go do something else, so I'm, not making things worse," which is fucking pretty rough.
Yeah, he put the pieces of the puzzle back together, and then he was like, "You know what? Jigsaw's done. I'm out of here."
The film kind of drops you in, and it really only wants to give you just the slowest, most arduous drips and drabs of the things that happened in the past. You get, originally you're just like, oh, there's this dude, and he's just been wandering, and his brother comes to pick him up, and his brother's like, oh, I haven't seen him for ages, we thought he was dead, blah, blah, blah. And then you kind of find out, his son is still here, his son still lives, your son still lives with us. And then you hear like mention of Jane, but not much past that. And then the film, I feel like it's still done pretty well. How it does have maybe 2 or 3 big blocks of what is more or less exposition.
Yeah.
Obviously that final scene kind of, you've pieced together most of it. You just don't know the exact circumstances by the time you get there.
Yeah, it's the penultimate scene gives you the context.
It kind of pulls everything together, but at that point, you know about half of what's happened. You've got enough information to maybe start to work out what's happened with their relationship, or at least get some hints with that. And there's also, I think it's a Super 8 or something, the film recording that they have of their holiday together.
Yeah.
You kind of notice that Jane is like obviously significantly younger than Travis is, and I was kind of sitting there going like, I wonder if that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
If they were kind of just pulled apart because they had different like life goals or whatever. Yeah, it's this constant mystery just the whole way through, which I fucking adored. And
I like not having everything explained, and a film that treats its audience with a level of intelligence is always a good thing in my mind.
But it's not just dumping you in with nothing. It's giving you the hints. And I think that is kind of, it's something important to not have a film with mystery that only a critic or like a movie buff would get.
Yeah.
Your film needs to be accessible enough for a fucking Joe Schmo. They still have to think about it a lot, but they'd be able to pick up on a lot of it, because it's completely unsatisfying to someone like us if they'd been, more scant with that information, hadn't kind of like doled it out in cute little portions, allowing you to kind of work it out. If it had been a bit more esoteric or a bit more, coded or whatever, we might not have got it, and it definitely would have been a worse experience as a result.
Well, you might not be that you wouldn't have gotten it. It would have just been a bit more frustrating to get to that point, and it wouldn't have felt as well deserved as it is.
It would have just felt like a block of exposition where the film's just like, what happened? And then you just get to the end and it's like, this is what happened. And you're like, oh, I guess that is what happened.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And the film was just really good at dropping hints that felt subtle, but I was still able to pick up on. Things like, I picked up early that Anne was hiding something. Walt's wife, the French woman.
Yeah, the sister-in-law.
Was kind of hiding something about what kind of happened. I picked that up probably 15 minutes before it happened. I wrote a little note about it, wondering about something happening to Jane and things like that. That element just made it so engaging. I was constantly sitting there trying to work out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
Very much helped by this absolute enigma of a character who is also doing the same thing. He's, not fucking talking for the first half hour of the film. And past that, he doesn't really entirely remember what's going on until he starts remembering things from talking to people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Another really important, or I guess really impressive part of it was just all the conversations.
Yeah, the script really does carry a lot of those good. It for me, it felt a bit like a play in some sections, in that there were really nice, lengthy, good, well-written conversations between two characters, each with their own objectives and their own thoughts and experiences, and they felt well fleshed out and deserved. That's like baseline of what theatre acting is. It's two people having a dialogue with their own objectives and trying to get something out of the other person. And there's a lot of that in this film. There's a lot of one-on-one conversations. Yeah. And that's, really, really interesting. And just seeing Harry Dean Stanton as Travis, I could 110% see his performance in the theatre and see it in with just the same level of gravitas as it has on screen.
Yeah.
Obviously, the camera picks up all of those tiny little nuances and details that an actor can give, whereas on the stage, you obviously have to be a little bit more pronounced to make sure that you reach the back row. It's the bit that got me for Harry Stanton's performance was where it's at the beginning where Walt is talking to Travis about Hunter, and they're both at that diner, and Travis just starts tearing up. And he still hasn't said anything, but he just, he starts to tear up when he's hearing about Hunter. I don't know, that just brought a very... from that point, he was kind of an unreliable storyteller for me.
Yeah.
Until I had that moment, I was going, okay, there is a man behind this frame.
Yeah.
He's not just some husk that's, just walking in one direction and, might be a little bit nutty.
Such a bizarre character.
Yeah.
Especially at the start. He's just crazy.
There's so much room for experimentation, I think. And I think that definitely it can be seen in Harry Dean Stanton's performance, in that he obviously took the time to really flesh out Travis as a character and figure out those objectives and that past and really carry that throughout the film.
He's such a flight risk at the start.
Yeah,
he just keeps fucking off.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
The bit where he turns on the shower and just fucks off, I was like, what? Okay.
Like, come on, man. I was sitting there going like, is this going to be 2.5 hours of this going? I'm like,
just this, yeah.
I'm just sitting there going like, what happens in a film where just nothing gets done the entire 2 hours and someone's doing something stupid and they just like can't be told otherwise. Imagine if just the 2.5 hours of like, well, going like, all right, Travis, we're leaving now,
car.
And he's like, no, I'm walking away. It just keeps on going, happens like 15 times and then the film ends. It'll be incredible.
That'd be fantastic.
Very fucking stupid.
That's a real waiting for Godot experience, I think.
I guess so.
I also have to commend, just as a character, how loving and caring Walt is at the beginning. Like, just the fact that, as I said, the bit where Travis, turns on the shower and he fucks off, and he has that, there's that one nice long shot where he grabs all the stuff off the bed and then he gets into the car and you see the train going past and all of that. That's all one really nice, one long take.
Oh, was it one? Wow.
And he drives off. Then when he finds, Travis walking along the railroad tracks and he gets out of the car, I was expecting him to be like, what the fuck, Travis, get in the back of the fucking car, I swear to God. But like, he was just like, all right, buddy, like, it's okay. There's nothing out there. Like, let's just get back in the car. Everything's fine. Like, it was just really genuine and kind to his brother, which I think it brings a sense of compassion for both of those characters as brothers.
I was sitting there thinking, like, how would I react in this situation? The whole way through, I was like, that's so bizarre. How do you handle someone like that?
It's hard to envision that kind of a situation, isn't it? Where just your brother, someone who you've grown up with and you haven't seen in 4 years, you suddenly get this phone call that he's just been patched up by some doctor in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And you try to pick him up and then he fucks off, and then you go and drive and you just see him just walking. He's just doing his thing. And you kind of go, it portrays some very interesting decisions and choices.
It's not even like sitting there portraying an emotion, like giving you an emotion to feel something. It's just like through thinking about this very odd circumstance, it makes you feel a lot of interesting stuff, which is kind of that's very weird. It's a very weird like film concept.
It's so creative. I think just a lot of again, this all comes back to the interactions. So the dialogue between one actor and another, there's so many just interesting interactions and interesting contexts around those interactions that make this film.
Yeah.
And then that is only ever supported by the cinematography, the music, the writing. It just coalesces and comes together so perfectly.
There's never really like a conversation or something that felt unnecessary to me.
Absolutely.
Like it's the large majority of the film is Travis talking with Walt, a bit of it with Anne, with Hunter, and obviously with Jane at the end. And there's a couple of other bits, but it's all constantly tying back into putting this picture together again, and then also kind of the rebuilding of the relationship with Hunter and Travis,
and just of a family, putting a family back together again.
When Travis leaves with Hunter, and like Anne is just a wreck because of it. Anne and Walter just like gutted is the word. They were just completely like distraught by it. You kind of wonder, like, it feels like the right thing that he did the right thing, but you're sitting there like thinking about the repercussions of it is just a very interesting thought
on them both. Have brother again that they haven't seen in 4 years suddenly swoop back in, pick up his kid that you've been looking after for 4 years and just completely dick off when you've obviously grown an emotional attachment to this child, and to just suddenly have that person not erased from your life but swooped away is
holy shit, Hunter is like such a good actor as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of like a better child actor I've seen. I've always got like
Haley Joel Osment is the one that always comes to mind for me.
What does she do?
He.
Right. Thanks.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. I haven't watched that.
Very, very good. I think it's Sixth Sense anyway.
The one that I kind of go for is Natalie Portman in Leon. But that was still not a flawless performance. It did feel a little weird.
Just as a side note, I think both of those movies are in the 250.
I think they might be. I know Leon is.
Yeah. And actually, no, Sixth Sense is. So, well, there you go. I haven't seen Leon and you haven't seen Sixth Sense. So
perfect. Yeah. We can talk about more child actors later down the line.
Bellissimo.
Mamma mia. But he's just a flawless fucking performance from this kid. He's got everything about the way he acts. I'm wondering how much of it they kind of just like let this kid loose, or because it feels like stuff, the way that he holds himself with everything he's doing, with the walkie-talkie and things, it's almost like a kid would not entirely understand the full weight of the situation, I guess. They're just like, he's kind of just off on an adventure with his dad, which has huge like repercussions, with his parents up to this point with Walt and Anne. He's going off to find his mum, who is someone who hasn't really wanted to be found and has kind of completely disappeared off the face of the map, and he's still kind of just like, got my walkie-talkie, I'm hanging out with my dad, I'm having a great time. And there's like the scene where they're at the drive-in bank, and he like falls asleep, kind of cradling the walkie-talkie and stuff. He was just fucking blew me away.
There's a sense of naivete to Hunter, most definitely.
The earlier scenes with him with the school, like getting picked up from the school, that all seemed pretty realistic. I didn't have any major issues with how that was all played out.
Yeah, I think that comes again back to the script and everything. So many of the conversations don't feel written. They feel incredibly genuine and colloquial, which I think is obviously credit to Kit Carson and Sam Shepard for their writing chops. But they just, all of the actors, and again, it comes back to their objectives and what they want out of each other. It all feels so natural and nothing feels forced or shoved down your throat of like, this person has to say this at this point in the film, Yeah, everything just kind of naturally develops.
So I love that so much. I love the whole bit you get to when Travis is back home, and he's kind of trying to be a better dad in what is sort of, I guess, a bit of a childish way, looking through books going like, what does a dad look like? What does a dad do? I don't know how to be a dad.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's like really sweet. It's very weird, but it's very, very sweet. And you end up with I absolutely love the fucking like Old West dandy suit and hat that he ends up in. Yeah. Which is, once again, this film is just constantly trying its hardest to put Travis in a fucking vest and a cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat, yeah.
The whole way through, it just keeps coming up. It's just a film full of just incredible like interactions with these characters, and the cast itself is tiny, really.
It is, yeah.
It's really only 5 people.
Again, that makes me think of theatre so much, is that most theatre plays have really tiny casts, and those interactions are what kind of stick it all together. But it's not like the film really relies on its plot, though. Like it has structure and tone, but the story and the photography and everything, and it all kind of, the colors and the motifs, and there's just all of the bits kind of coalesce it and make it all come I had a through line for what I was going to say here, but I've completely fucking forgotten what it was. You can just cut this shit.
It's just kill it. Get rid of it.
Get it out of my life.
I guess we've fucked on long enough. That fucking final penultimate scene where Travis is like talking with Jane and kind of hashing everything out is just the most amazing, like, tiny set. Fuck, I don't even know where to begin. You've got this set where it's like this diorama, and it kind of, Travis is seeing this picturesque version of like his ex-wife in that like iconic pink sweater in this room, but the room is just like a kitchen, like a lounge room type deal. And then you see it from her perspective, and it's just like raw, like insulation and a one-way mirror. And there's just this super extended scene of Travis just being brutally honest about everything that happened, and, you know, not sugarcoating it, not trying to defend himself, just kind of letting her know everything that kind of went through just the whole situation. And she doesn't say anything for, I think the shot is 16 minutes, 15 or 16 minutes.
Yeah.
She doesn't say anything for like the first, at least half of it.
And there's that one really long shot on her face where it's just her listening and crying, and it's
kind of everything's coming together, which is just, we're just harping on the fact that the expressions and the performances were so good.
Just 95% of Natasha Kinski's performance is in one room. That blows my mind from an actor's perspective.
And it's amazing!
Her portrayal of emotion is just so perfectly understated and quiet, and the way she speaks, their chemistry, it's unbelievable.
It's such a, and they, you know, he turns the light back on himself so that she can see him, and it's kind of reverses. She turns away so she can't be seen, and you can see him, and she tells him about what happened with her.
They both get their chance to put their cards on the table and speak their mind.
You get this just super cool shot where both people, you can see both faces simultaneously, and both like the expressions going on with everybody for that very last bit. It's so good. It's so good.
Out of all of the movies we've seen so far on the 250, I think that is probably one of the in terms of
that's
acting,
a highlight scene so far.
Absolutely, that's got to be really strong, really strong moment. Just a moment where everything comes together: cinematography, lighting, direction, acting, writing. Everything comes together.
You get like a conclusion to this film and to this mystery, and the kind of final states of these characters as Travis kind of understands, this is what I need to do to make things right.
Yeah.
And kind of Jane coming to grips with that.
I think it's very well defined that they know that they're not going to see each other again.
Yeah.
After they've seen each other in that peep show room, when they're not even in the same room.
Yeah. They
know that they're never going to see each other again.
Yeah.
And I think there's something very melancholic but very beautiful about that. A silent acceptance between two people where they are happy to have known each other and they've brought things into each other's lives, but the fact that they're not going to be in their life forever is okay. It's okay for people to drift and to move on with their lives and be apart from each other. I think that's a kind of an important part of the human condition, is that you have to accept that there aren't going to be, not everyone in your life is going to stick around forever, and be that because of death or moving away or difference of interests or
more extreme situations like
like
this
the one that happens in the movie. It's a very important, I wouldn't say lesson, but just an acceptance of human condition.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, absolutely. No denying.
And I guess kind of like that blew me away so much, but it kind of also made me think about the cinematography through the rest of the film, which is still just delightful the whole way through.
Yeah,
it's really, this is the climax, I guess, in everything that the film does, but it also, it made me think about it a lot, and I was like, shit, it's not a film with one amazing scene, it's one amazing scene that's in an amazing film.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like to hear some trivia, Jonathan?
I would love to hear some trivia, Douglas.
This is the fellow who plays Travis, Harry Dean Stanton. This is his favourite film from his own filmography.
Fair enough.
Before Paris, Texas, he was in 100 other films.
Oh, holy shit.
So
really?
He had done lots and lots and lots and lots of work before coming in for Paris, Texas, and he was actually considering giving it up. He was considering giving up his acting career and pursuing real estate. And
I'm glad you didn't, Harry.
Yeah, he ended up signing on for this film, and it's to this day still his favourite film. He's now 91.
Fuck.
So.
Oh man, I love looking at these ones where it's just like the hyper prolific actors, and it's just like he did like, how many is this? Like 10 films in 1959. Oh, it's just like non-stop.
Yeah.
Oh, part of it was TV.
Yeah.
But he did a lot of TV actually. Shit.
Natasha Kinski, harping on that. Natasha Kinski in 1984. This was one of 4 movies that she was a part of in 1984. So she was also in Maria's Lovers, Unfaithfully Yours, and The Hotel New Hampshire, and obviously Paris, Texas, all of which came out in 1984. And she was a part of.
These motherfuckers will work hard.
Absolutely. Actors hustle hard. Travis, as I said earlier, Travis doesn't speak until about 26 minutes into the film. This is Kurt Cobain and Elliott Smith's favourite movie of all time. if you've impressed Kurt Cobain, I think that's fair kudos.
That's a good start.
The interesting point on the screenplay, shooting for the film started in 1983, but the screenplay was still incomplete.
Oh, shit.
So the objective was that they were going to film in the order of the story.
Right.
Which is a method that I've been a part of a fair few times in some of the films that I've done. You film in the order of the script in order to, I think from the director's standpoint, they were trying to give us a better level of the emotion and to get it a little bit more realistic in that everything was happening sequentially. So you didn't have to go.
A lot.
Yeah, you didn't have to go
for this character that you're like building on throughout the whole film. I think if he was doing these shots from the start of the film where he's completely silent, and then like all these shots where
and then you had to bounce to one where you have to do a road trip with Hunter.
Yeah,
it probably wouldn't have gelled as much as it did. Sam Shepard planned to base the rest of the story on how they understood the characters and observations of the actors. So again, that's a super interesting choice.
Yeah,
to put that much faith in your crew and your cast to go, let's just see what happens in front of the camera, and we're going to go from there.
Far out.
When Shepard did, however, have to move on to another job, he sent Wim Wenders notes on how he thought the screenplay should end. However, he credited Wenders and co-writer L.M. Kit Carson with the idea of the Peep Show and the story's final acts. According to Dean Stockwell, his character in early drafts was intended to travel with Hunter, Travis, and Anne before Anne turned back to Los Angeles, and Walt became lost in the desert, paralleling Travis in the first scene.
Oh, that would have been weird.
Yeah, it would have been a bit more of a somber ending. I mean, the ending already is kind of bittersweet, but Natasha Kinski, I think I said this before, her first appearance takes place 53 minutes into the film. Whew. So we hear about her for 53 goddamn minutes, or we get peeps of her, and then we get an actual peep, a little peep show.
Wait, is that an hour? Is that an hour in, or is that the Super 8 that's 53 minutes in?
What do you mean?
Is that her peep show performance?
No, the peep show. The peep show, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is that an hour in?
Pretty sure, yeah. Or it might be the film.
Okay. I feel like that was a bit later.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also wouldn't be surprised to find out that like the way I perceived time with this film had become like weirdly dilated because of how long it is, and how calling it slow seems rude, but like slow the pacing is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
interesting, but she's off. She does not appear in the film for the first 53 minutes. We can see that.
Yes, yeah, we can. Yes, it just what happens at the 53-minute mark is a little bit fuzzy for us.
Shit, we weren't prepared. Shit.
Yeah, that's. I mean, pretty much all I got. I mean, the rest we've already pretty much touched on. Obviously, it was in the 1984 Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, yep.
Did very, very well.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Wenders claimed that Stanton was so anxious about Cannes that they hired Sean Penn to assist with Stanton's preparations for the screening.
That's awesome.
Which I think is, kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously from Cannes Film Festival is, just when it took off. So, God, this is a really good movie. This is a really
cracker. It was
solid
once
drama.
Again, something really different to anything that I've seen before. But just so cool. It's just a massive study into the interrelationships of these five people.
And just family
you're just sucked into it because it just feels so fucking real.
Yeah.
The way it's written, the way it's directed is just fucking nutso.
Realism off the bloody charts.
Off the bloody chain.
And you know what else is on the charts, hopefully?
What?
The TwoFiveOh podcast is hopefully on the charts. Number one.
The charts.
Baby.
Number
one
Australian
podcast.
Yep. Congrats. Yeah, we're getting our check in the mail for best podcast of all time. Yeah, we were actually sitting really low, but then you made that joke, and that actually boosted us to number one because it's such a good joke.
Just now.
Yeah, just now.
And you know,
I don't know how we haven't actually aired it yet, but it's crazy.
Do you know where you can find us, Jonathan?
I have no idea.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Pocket Casts, Google Home, and Amazon Echo.
We have our own personal Letterboxd accounts. Letterboxd is a movie tracking service where you can... this sounds like a fucking ad. We're not sponsored by them.
We're not sponsored by Letterboxd.
It's basically, it lets you write a cute little list of all the films you've watched and put ratings next to them and stuff like that. We're both now writing reviews. I picked up my fucking act with that. So Douglas is sitting down. He's writing basically abridged versions of his thoughts from each podcast. And I am writing a haiku for every film. I'm very proud of myself. My Letterboxd account is Upa. That is UUUPAH, 3 U's. And Douglas.
Mine is IENZOKNIGHT. That's Ienzo Knight with a K. I just want to touch on your Casino Royale review that's up there.
I did like 8 of them, or how I did all the ones we've done on like a train trip home, and they're a complete blur. I have no recollection of what I wrote.
I just want to touch. If you don't want to go and look at John's Letterboxd profile, hopefully this brief little review that John's given for Casino Royale could tempt you. He's given it 3.5 stars, and he's written, "Why couldn't James Bond just find a comfy desk job and chill in Venice?"
Why couldn't he? Why couldn't he?
You're so cut up about how cold he is in that movie.
Oh, fucking
if you haven't listened to the Casino Royale podcast, go listen to that one. That's a good one.
It is. Which should be up.
That should be last week.
Well, by the time you're listening to this, it'll be up.
Last week.
Look behind the curtain. It hasn't come out yet. We're recording this before Casino Royale comes out.
Fuck, you're ruining the illusion.
Showbiz, baby. So I guess before we fully bail out, I've got a cute little shout out. A friend of mine, Luke Ormsby, dude I knew from school. I actually haven't seen him much recently, but he's a little filmmaker in South Australia. And he just put out his first I think it's his first short film. He put out his short film. It's called Bloody Red Riding Hood by Blueprint Cinema. It's on YouTube.
Wow.
It's free. I thought it was pretty fun. I adored the music. Give it a bloody look.
Yeah,
just
go check that out.
Do me a solid for a pal. I actually should talk to him. I haven't chatted with him for ages.
Oh well,
but
he's gonna find out soon.
Yeah, it was a fun little romp. I thought it was pretty fun. So give that a crack.
Yeah.
Bloody Red Riding Hood
on YouTube.
Blueprint Cinema. YouTube.
That's pretty cool. Go support some South Australian talent.
We'll see how we go, but I think I might try and get him on at some point.
Yeah,
he's a pretty cool
that'd be
guy.
cool. Toss him the list and see if he's interested in any of the
Bloody
films.
Hell yeah. We've had a chat on Insta about stuff like this. So
yeah, cool. We gotta get some more guests on here.
We do. Yeah, we do.
They're coming. We've got.
There's like a massive block of films that have guests on them, but they're just not happening
yet.
Yeah.
They're going to be a little ways down the track. Oh, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, you can.
We're professionals. You can find us at TwoFiveOhPod on both Twitter and Instagram. That's 250 pod. And we also have a email under the same spelling, 250pod.
I haven't actually checked it. I wonder if there's anything on it.
At gmail.com.
It's if you want to look at that, then go your hardest. If you want to share the list, if you want to just look at the list, it is bit.ly/250pod.
That's Lee, L-Y, for the record.
Yeah, bit.ly. If you don't know bit.ly, I can't help you.
Go Google it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
That's it.
I'm happy. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I kind of want to go to Paris, Texas now.
I'll bet it's a really, unimpressive place.
Oh, I'm no denying it from that little
like
that
Google
little bloody
Maps.
photo that he has. I can't deny that's probably.
Well, that's just an empty lot. That's not indicative of anything.
well,
Douglas.
yeah, but like I don't know.
Okay, Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas.
He's looking it up.
Well, I'm amazed that we took this long to make the Paris, Texas.
Joke.
We were doing that in voice chats previously.
Were we?
Yeah, we were. And I was like, we're gonna do this. I just know it. It has. What is that? It's got a little Eiffel Tower. That's hilarious.
It's in Texas, Jonathan.
Yes. Paris. No. Paris, Texas. In Texas. It has like a tiny. Like it's maybe 3 stories tall.
Oh wow!
Like
Look at
tiny,
that.
like a tiny little. That's hilarious.
It's a little baby
Okay,
one.
so the list of interesting things from Google Maps on Paris, Texas. There is the mini Eiffel Tower. There is some old slave owner 2-story house,
Whoa.
and then there's a shit house playground. This is the list of things going on, fellas.
It's Paris, Texas is
Paris, Texas.
far place to live.
It's probably still like I'd love to go there with you so we can get a dumb fucking photo of us
Absolutely.
with the Paris,
in front
Texas
of
Eiffel Tower.
the little Eiffel Tower. If we have any listeners from Texas, we're really sorry we're not mocking you.
Yeah. But if you are from Paris, Texas, we are mocking you.
Yeah, you hit us
Your
up.
town
If
looks
you're from
silly.
Paris, Texas, wow,
Yeah.
you can get us over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Give us a
If you
buzz.
can cough up for flights.
Yeah.
Then sure.
Totally. Get us over there, baby boy.
Yeah. We're gonna take a dumb photo with our idiot podcast full of dumb idiots.
Yeah, well, first we've got to get merchandise if we're going to do that.
Yeah, we do. Check it out, Paris High School. That's kind of fun. That's cute.
Well, thank you for tuning in to the
The Paris
250.
Wildcats. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you
Cuts up.
for tuning into the 250.
Thank you for tuning in. Do you want to go play some Minecraft, Douglas?
I could go play some Minecraft.
I actually don't want to play some Minecraft. I'm going to play Persona 4.
Oh, wow. Way to dog the...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Ow.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Eat your teeth.
What?
Brush your shoes.